Hey y'all, Jesse Petersen here with Let's Make Art. I'm a mixed media artist and I love art journaling and I love doing projects with y'all, and this is what we're doing today. Thank you, Keenan. He's our fairy art mother.
Yes.
Cheerleader.
Hello. Shimmery. I wish I had shimmery sounds I could play right now.
Maybe like a little wand. He's always losing that wand. This, you know. Wait, hold on. I got a cheer for you. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Found it.
Okay. So we're working in the theme of Once Upon a Time, kind of just thinking about, you know, the wonder of all of those kind of things, fairy tales and whatnot. And I thought it would be fun for us to have a project where our fairy art mother sort of cheered us on. So that is the project. I will tell you a little bit about the prompt. Oh, it's right there.
Found it.
I put it right there.
You set yourself up for success.
I did. A letter from your fairy art mother. Whether you've been making art for a while or you're just beginning, maybe a little love letter from your fairy art mother is in order. What encouraging words would she have if you wished her to come to you right now? Write a letter from her in your journal and decorate it. So that's the thought that we're thinking about. And I'll tell you the supplies we're going to use.
Are you going to tell us what your fairy art mothers would say?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
I got some ideas.
I think I need some ideas. I'm not sure yet.
I bet you have ideas.
I have a lot of ideas.
You're like the art cheerleader of Let's Make Art. You got this.
I've got ideas for other people.
Okay.
But for me, I don't know.
Well, that's the beauty. We can trade these ideas back and forth.
Perfect. I like this.
All right, supplies. Ready?
Supplies. Sorry, go ahead.
We're going to use this black acrylic paint, the Dina Wakley, sand, and sky. We're going to mix the sky and the sand to get this kind of pretty color. We're going to have fun playing around more with a jelly roll, a white tin pen to get some accents and draw on black, and that's going to be fun. We're going to use our collage paper. I just love this fairy. I think she's just so sweet, and I love fairies, so I got excited about including a fairy in my journal. We've been cutting out of this already in previous projects, and if you haven't seen those, go check them out. But we'll be using our collage paper and a clip if you like to keep your page down. Yes paste, so this comes in your box, or if you just want to commit to the yes paste, we got this. It's good.
Which is everlasting.
Yes. And you might want to have another pen if you want to write on the inside of your letter, some of those things. An X-Acto knife or craft knife or scissors if you prefer scissors, that would work. We're also going to use the oval mop 1/2-inch brush and possibly the number 8 round. And a ruler to cut the straight edge. I think that's all the things.
Excellent.
Okay, so I like to just pause and take a deep breath. Sometimes I just need that. So I invite you to do it too. You know, you got to roll your shoulders. Whatever you got to do to settle in to making art. It's good.
The convenient thing for if you're doing this at home is you could, just get a neck massage from a local nearby thing. Like I have a neck massager. I just put on, it heats up the neck. That would be very convenient for doing art.
Whatever you got to do. I mean, don't get so relaxed that you're going to take a nap, but I mean, it's okay if you want to take a nap, but we're here to make art. Mindful art making, that's what we're doing. Okay. So, sometimes I like a set intention for art. I think we'll have a good conversation around our fairy art mother, but just being open to those positive vibes, I think will be great. So, all right. I'm going to grab my blank journal to work in here, my clip. We'll keep our example nearby. And the first thing that we're going to do is paint our background. So we're going to mix this acrylic sky. Well, I need a little more than that, I think. There we go. And the sand. I just love when these two colors get mixed.
I'm excited to see that because sand is not a color that I would choose normally,
Well, sand is a lighter value, almost like white is, but with that little bit of pigment and it being on the warm side, it warms up the blue and it lightens it at the same time. So if you think about it that way, that's why we get this color.
I like that. I do like those mixed.
Isn't that pretty?
That is pretty.
I love it. I thought it kind of gave us a more sort of vintagey,
oh, it totally does.
Bluish green color.
Jesse, you're so smart. Good call.
Thanks. And when I made the collage paper, after I chose kind of mixing this color I want, that's why I made it sort of, this like vintagey wallpaper kind of vibe. It's a lot of fun to make that. Okay, so we're just gonna go straight on our page here. And you can use your bigger brush if you want to, the oval mop. Mavis, Mavis is gonna help us out here.
Mavis needs a theme song.
Yeah, what would her theme song be?
What would be a good theme? What genre is Mavis?
I think Mavis is probably digging this vintage vibe. I think if she was, to choose the paint color that she likes the most, I think this is the color she would go for.
Okay.
If that helps you with her personality.
I think it does. When I think of vintage, okay, I don't know. This is where things get iffy because everyone's different ages. What?
Okay, if you say something vintage, it doesn't feel like vintage to me.
Mavis should be our fairy art mother's
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I love it. Mavis could be your fairy art name. You can give her your own name if you don't like Mavis, but I like Mavis. I like it.
Just changed what I was going to say vintage is just to see what you say.
We don't like age jokes, Keenan.
Oh, no, it wasn't going to be a joke.
It wasn't going to be a joke. It was going to be a dig. I'm lost.
What do you mean?
What's happening right now? You would never. So Mavis is thirsty. She needs more paint. And I want that because I want this to be more of a solid background than a wash. But if you like a wash, you do that. You do you.
I like that color combo.
Thank you.
The more I see it, I like it more.
Sometimes I'm in the mood for like a color straight out the bottle because it's just like so bright and fresh. But for the most part, I like to neutralize it a little bit and bring it down to earth a bit. And I think the sand really does that for this color.
I agree.
We're on our way to a beautiful background.
We are well underway.
Now you could be more careful if you want like the exact space around the edges, and I'm okay with this being wonky. It's kind of fun like that. I like that.
See, I'm a big fan of the wonky edges as well. See, I like torn edges. I like imperfect edges. I like sketched and unfinished projects.
Mm-hmm.
When a project looks unfinished, but it's finished, that is my absolute favorite.
How do you know if it's finished if it looks unfinished?
When the artist tells me it's finished.
Tricky. That's tricky. So I'm just putting enough paint on there so it's not translucent, you know?
Yeah. Question.
Yes.
Do you think our fairy art mother has such wise words for us to encourage us with because she is also an artist and knows our struggles?
Ooh, this is deep. I mean, yeah, maybe.
I think she does.
I feel like the fairy godmother concept of fairy tales, you know, they have magical powers. They act as a mentor, and I feel like in a lot of ways, especially in like Cinderella, she embodies she's a physical embodiment of hope, right?
Ooh, yeah.
So what I imagine a fairy art mother would be is something similar to that, and I think fairy godmothers are sort of taking on the role of a godparent, but magic. And so, I mean, I want my fairy art mother to be magical. I want to imagine her to be magical.
100%. Mavis is magical.
But I also imagine her to be motherly, you know,
Okay.
like in a kind, loving, encouraging way.
Nice.
But yeah, whether she's an artist or not, I mean, I think she understands creativity for sure, and yeah, I think I'm into that.
Okay, cool.
If she's a very art mother, then she's an artist, right?
Right.
She gets it. She gets the creative.
She understands
vibe.
us.
Okay, I like that. I'm just gonna let this dry over here while we do our next step.
Ooh.
So, extra piece of paper. I forgot to tell you. If you don't have an extra piece of paper, pause, go get it. Just whatever paper you got around is gonna be fine. I'm going to just roughly tear mine in half. And let's see, probably in half this way. And I'm gonna paint it black. And then we'll let that dry for a little bit. This is going to be a little, it's going to build a little contrast in our letter here. This is what we're making that black.
Perfect. Have you mixed the black and sand?
No. I think you would get maybe like a gray, but you'd have to only have like a little bit of sand and mostly black to get that color. I could do it for you if you want. I don't know that we need it, but we can try it.
No, you're good. I was just curious.
I'm not using a lot of water on this because this paper is thin, so it just needs to be pretty much like straight acrylic for it to not buckle too much. And if you have black paper, you could use that, but I just thought, we'll make our own black paper with our black paint.
So is it the water that makes the paper buckle versus the paint?
Well, paint's wet, so it'll make it buckle, but the more water, the more it buckles.
Interesting. Thank you for that information.
And I want this to be like dark, not a wash. Like I want it to be dark in value, so I'm just using straight paint.
That makes sense too.
And you could do some extra of this if you want to use it in other journals if you're already painting the paper. You know, you could give yourself a little extra collage paper to use somewhere else.
This is a really cool idea. Because then, oh snap, I just realized what you're doing. I'm really excited.
What?
Well, are you going to use the jelly roll on that?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to write letters on top of it so they really pop. Like words.
That's such a good idea.
Thanks. I just wanted to show y'all that you can use your supplies in different ways. So like you don't have to have a certain color paper. You can paint that, whatever paper you got that color, and then add dimension your journal in different ways. And I love a white pen. I love how it can just add interest to your journal instead of using a black pen all the time.
And the other cool thing, you're kind of doing a double collage paper creation right now by painting. If you overlap the ripped paper on the other paper that you're painting on right now,
Oh my gosh.
you could put something there.
Okay, hold on. Let me finish it, and then we'll lift it. Show them what you're talking about. So
Look at
then
that.
you could just
Yeah.
finish it off. Well,
No, that's great.
you could do this.
Yep.
If you want to finish that underneath part off, like
Yep.
Keenan pointed out.
Oh my goodness, that looks so cool.
So yeah, you could do something with that if you want. I'll just dry that really fast. It's still going to be crinkly, but I kind of like that, so.
Jesse, I just had another idea.
What's your other idea?
Okay, you know how I call it the redacted collage paper of words, because you could cut words out and it just looks like a redacted list?
Yeah. Oh, like when we were talking about last time in the collage paper like this?
Yeah. You could do something similar to that and put just like cut square, like rectangles out, and then put that over what you just created on the other paper, right? The black outline, and then paint over the redacted list. But not maybe scan it first.
Like that?
Yeah, do that, and then paint over it.
Oh, and then write
And then put
other
keywords.
stuff.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
That could be really
like
fun.
that. That's
'Cause
cool.
then you could, yeah.
I'm into that.
Okay. Good. Nice.
And it's nice and dry. That dried fast. Let's see how we're doing over here. Don't forget to dry the other side of your paper because that gets it nice and even. All right. Yeah, on to the next couple of steps here. So I like the idea of tearing this. And I tore it, you know, about that size. And then you get that white tear back with the black, which is kind of cool too, if you like that.
That is cool. I do like that.
So we'll put that there. Let's cut out our other things. I'm going to cut out letters from Mercury Art Mother. And I mentioned this before that I practiced my lettering and I did this lettering for this. So you could do your own lettering if you're into that.
Do you think fairy art mothers are keen on watching for posture or no? What do you think? Maybe it depends on the spell they're casting. Might be my favorite game, Jesse.
I'm concentrating, so I didn't acknowledge your comment, but I will. Because I want to keep my head out of the shot so they can see what they're doing.
I understand. Thank you. You're doing great. You're doing great work.
Woo. I didn't press hard enough, so I'm just going back over my work here. Cute. It's gonna be good. Okay, and then we can cut out cute little fairy. Now I like keeping the cut just a little bit outside of the edge to give it that kind of outline, white outline kind of look, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that if you like.
I do like that. Instead of going real close to her dark outline.
Mm-hmm. When there's a lot going on as far as detail here goes, so it just kind of makes sense to give it all a little air.
Oh man, I just had another idea. You could cut her out on her black outline so that it's really sharp looking.
Mm-hmm.
Flip her over, do black acrylic on that outline you created, and have a reverse fairy art mother.
I think I'm following what you're saying.
It could potentially be pretty cool.
Keenan's saying have fun with it.
Yeah, do whatever you can or whatever you want. Rotate, flip, copy, cut, paste. Just have fun with it, because you can do it.
Now, if it starts feeling awkward, like right here, it doesn't feel comfortable for me to go that way,
Yeah.
turn your paper.
The old rotate. That really played well into my original.
Cut, copy, paste.
Cut, copy, paste, rotate.
Flip it and reverse it.
Flip it and reverse it. We got a song in the works right now.
For Keenan to sing, not me. You gonna sing it?
I don't know the words yet. Someone else wrote it. She looks so nice.
Just seems like a really nice fairy. I think I want that to be rounded, not pointy, so I'm going to just round that off. There you go. Now, if you're new to cutting with an X-Acto and you're not able to cut as quickly as I am, don't worry. Like, it takes a little practice, and the more you do it, the more comfortable you get doing it. And also, if you're more comfortable with scissors, you can do that. If you don't want to get this fussy with it, you don't have to. You do whatever you want. There's just one way of doing it. That's how I like to do it. But it's not the only way. All right, we got our fairy. And I put be curious on there because that's what I imagine my fairy art mother encouraging me to do. Whenever I'm curious, that's when I'm having the most fun. And whenever I'm faced with a problem, I think being curious really helps me identify things instead of getting caught up in the stress of a problem. Whether it's art or something that's going on in my house or work or whatever. Curiosity, I think, is good stuff. I think that's what she would tell me.
I like that.
All right, well, let's see her get our clip. Sometimes it even helps to just bend it back the other way if it's coming up. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so let's see, talk placement here. We're gonna put that there. Put this probably up here, and we're gonna have that ready for our letter portion. Now let's see, I cut, I like the size of this, and I made the collage paper a little bit bigger for y'all, but this clear cutting mat, I mean, yours may be more clear than mine if you don't have as much paper on, paint on it, but I just thought, I'm gonna throw this on there and measure what I did really fast because I can see through it. So that looks like around 4 inches wide and 7 3/4 long. So
nice.
I like how that fits and how that folded up really nicely.
It's
so
a
we'll do that.
multi-use tool right there.
It is. You can measure with it. You can cut on it. What did I say? 4 inches?
Yep. 4 by 7 3/4.
Okay, so it's going to be right there. And here, let's just cut this way first. So I think that's going to take us right to, if we want to do, right, let's just take it to that blue line right there above our follow your dreams, and that'll make it easy for y'all to identify where I'm cutting.
Nice.
So we'll cut it right there. And now we'll cut 4 inches. We'll have this little strip of something you can do something with later if you want. Okay, I feel good about that. So.
There's something about lined paper that I love. I don't really even write a lot, but it just love it.
Got a nostalgic feel, you know. I used a lot of lined paper in school.
Oh yeah, school.
So I have school memories and learning memories along with that. Note taking. So I'm just going to fold this in thirds. So if you want to know exactly, let's see what line that is. Let's see. So with that space on the header, we could count for you. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spaces, 8 of those spaces. Or you could just eyeball it. It's up to you. I'm actually giving mine a little bit of extra there to pop up. I'm going to fold it like that. So, but you can fold it in thirds, whatever you want. It's going to be great. And then I'm going to fold this third portion. I'm going to glue that back of this onto my page. Just like right there, I think. So get your yes paste. Ooh, I'm gonna put my brush, I'm gonna rinse my brush. I don't like leaving paint in my brush because it will ruin it. And I was so excited to move on to the next step, I forgot to rinse it.
We gotta treat Mavis right if she's gonna continue being our fairy art mother.
Yes. You can use one of your scrap papers to keep your workspace clean if you're applying glue. That's always a nice thing to do. So I'm putting a generous amount on here, and then I'm just scraping it across, getting as a nice thin layer of yes paste on there for it to stick.
That's very satisfying to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost as good as putting butter on a piece of toast.
Mm-hmm. I just love seeing how things are done. Videos, like I loved Mr. Rogers when he would go to those factories and you'd see how crayons are made or stuff like that. So cool.
That really is cool. That's why I like the How It's Made series.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan.
Oh, maybe I want that a little bit further up, actually. And with yes paste, you can do it. It's fine. And then I'm just going to use, because the yes paste is water soluble and my paint is dry, I'm going to use a little bit of my paper towel to wipe away that excess glue that I have right here. Isn't that a cool trick? I don't know if I've ever shown anybody that.
That is a very convenient and very cool trick.
That glue is gone. It's not sticky.
What?
Nothing's happening there because it's water soluble. I mean, that is why I love yes paste.
One of the many reasons we should all have yes paste in our house.
Mm-hmm. So I like that this flip kind of goes over that like that.
Oh.
And then we can do some journaling on here, and then we can talk about some of the things that we would do, and then we'll do a couple of finishing touches.
Sweet.
So let's talk Fairy Art Mother cheers here.
Okay.
So I often struggle with the inner critic, you know, and I have to kick that old critic out of here. I actually did a project on that, so we could probably link that to it. And so I think my Fairy Art Mother would tell me not to get caught up with that inner critic and just kick it right out of there, right? Find ways to do that. I also think that sometimes artists can get stuck in the hustle, you know, like some people make art and then they think the next step is to make art to make money, you know, because that's how you like prove you're a real artist or something. And there's nothing wrong with making art and making money from your art. I think that's great. But sometimes the pressure of doing that can kind of like bum us out as an artist. Yeah. And you don't have to hustle to prove yourself as an artist. You can create for the pure sake of creating and loving it. And so I would say that was something I think my Fairy Art Mother would tell me.
That's a great piece of advice from your Fairy Art Mother. Because you're right, creating art and then feeling that pressure can dilute the joy. Yeah. From
kind of takes away from it sometimes. And if you're able to make art and create and not feel that pressure, then that's awesome. Yeah. And I think we're all at different places in our journey as artists. In a lot of ways, I think my style and my curiosity as an artist is still emerging, and I don't know that I've arrived at like exactly what I want to do next. And I think that's okay, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, so I think that's something she would tell me to do. Got any more ideas there?
I do.
I'm going to start writing a couple of these things down.
Mine definitely goes along with the inner critic because I think my inner critic creates fear. So I'm a big fan of, and I recently got into it, but photography. And then also I love drone footage, videos and photos and all that. But my inner critic always creates this fear, and it's very successful for the most part, from sharing what I can take pictures of and videos of. And I don't know why, because at the end of the day, I'm like, ugh, I should have shared that. I should have showed more people the sweet ice footage that I got of the city that I live in. And I just don't. So yeah, I am pretty sure our fairy art mothers would probably tell us that we need to not be afraid.
I like that. I'm going to write that. Don't be afraid. I think mine would tell me to be curious.
Yeah. I think being curious is really the driving force to helping us explore new things. They say curiosity killed the cat, but they never say satisfaction brought it back.
I think she would say you're already as awesome as you need to be, like as an artist right now.
Absolutely. I think too that she would remind us that art isn't for other people until we decide that we want to share it.
Yes.
I think creating art is healthy for us as individuals.
Now, I like the idea of this just being sort of, you don't know what it's written necessarily, and I might just tear another little bit off of this, and my hands touched the white ink and smeared it, and I think that's cool. This is just kind of a cool visual for me, so I'm okay that it's like that. And I'll write my real letter inside. I just love the idea of this contrast and some of those. It's like a preview to what's inside, right?
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, I like that. Okay, so I'm going to paste this down. I took the top of this and then I put it back because I'm trying to get in the habit of keeping that sealed so I don't have to reconstitute it. It's nice when it's buttery like this consistency, but if yours gets stickier, then you can add a little water to it. Forgot to use my paper under this, so my workspace wouldn't get sticky. It's all right. You don't have to forget. You can do it.
What do you think Mavis, our fairy art mother, what art do you think she tried first?
Oh, probably the same art we all tried as kids, right? We were all artists until we stopped thinking we were, right?
That's true.
I mean, how many kids do you think say they're not an artist, like little kids?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to start asking a bunch of kids if they're artists. That would be such a fun thing to do.
Yeah. Go down the street, start doing some interviews, film that.
Yes.
With your drone.
I should do that with my drone. Just chase people with it. Hey, I have a question for you. They'd be so scared.
Oh, I need to move this down a little bit, actually. I'm going to tear it off a little bit more. But that could be cool as collage paper and something else, just a little strip of something awesome. I like that. Now, I think I had mine fully on the paper, but you could have it pop off a little bit too. I think that could be cool. Maybe I'll do that this time. Yes, I'm going to do that. Oh yeah, I like that.
Oh yeah. That's really coming together.
So then that will pop open, like, Okay. We can do the same. Get our fairy with some glue on it. I don't know. I think it's important to spend some time thinking about positive reminders. And the nice thing about putting it in a journal is that you can review it later and have that reminder of something that you were feeling before, because it's easy to forget those things.
I might have mentioned this before, but I recently found my personal journal. It's the same journal I've had since I was 3. And reading it back from the embarrassing stages, such as high school age, it really brought into perspective the things you don't understand and won't even realize you didn't understand if you never look back.
Right?
You don't see the growth until you look back, which is another reason I love the phrase hindsight is 20/20. Usually it's used in a negative way, but we can use 20/20 hindsight to look and see how much we've improved over the years.
And I think that's a real gift of journaling, is to be able to record those kind of things and be able to reflect on it later and be able to share it with others.
Absolutely.
I had a friend whose mom was really big into journaling, and she was big into journaling, and she told me when she was a teenager that she was having a hard time, and she went to her room and shut the door and was in her room for a long time, and the things that she was struggling with as a teenager, she just felt like her mom didn't understand, and she was just feeling isolated. And her mom slipped a journal under the door that was her own journal when she was a teenager, and let her read it, and then they talked, and she was like, I haven't forgotten what it's like to be a teenager, and I haven't forgotten the struggles that you're probably facing now. And it was like this thing that brought them together, and
That's
I love that.
cool.
I love that. So I hope that my journals are going to be things that I can share too, in different ways. I mean, I'm doing it for me, but it could, potentially be something I share.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Okay, I didn't say what I was doing here, but I'm just adding a couple little dashy dots.
Dashy dots.
A couple of those. Just wherever, just giving us a little, I just imagine as a little sprinkle of magic. Little fairy dust maybe, just kind of coming down.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also used the sand and did a couple of dots of sand here and there. Just kind of sprinkled throughout. There's always room for dots, I feel like. I can always add a dot here and there.
Always.
Might need to get a little more sand in my palette. Yeah, and it's like the same value as a white, but not quite as bright, so it brings color to the foreground, but not as much, so it's kind of a nice little contrast. If you gotta move your clip, move your clip. Don't let that clip tell you what to do.
Clip's not the boss of your journal,
No.
you are.
That's right.
Inner critic's not the boss of your creativity, you are.
Yeah.
What's your inner critic's name? Roy?
Todd.
Todd.
Keith. I got a couple of them.
Keith.
Keith really likes to give me a hard time. This is coming together.
It looks so good.
Thanks. Okay, I'm going to glue this on there. Get my scrap paper back over here so I can really just scrape that around. Some of my glitter from before is on there now.
Nice.
Just a little hidden magic under there. It's fine.
Magic.
You could add glitter to this too. I didn't use the solar flare on this, but you totally could. Now that I got that on there, I think I want one more little couple.
Nice.
All right. Now I'll let you guys continue to think about what your fairy art mother would say, and I think it'd be fun to write it right in here, kind of a response to what we've been talking about. Those are some ideas that we talked about. I just love that we got to make this together and talk about, some of the things that get in the way of making art and finding a positive way to return to the good parts of making art, right? This is it. This is what we did.
Oh.
And this little fold-up thing is so fun. I love that.
It's so fun.
Well, I think it's fun when y'all make art with us and you share it with us, and you can do that in our Facebook group called Let's Make Art Journals. And I'm going to tell you right now, there are a lot of fairy art mothers in there that can cheer you on too. I mean, we just have this really supportive community with inspiration, with encouragement, and I just love hanging out in there and seeing what y'all make. So if you would like to be brave and share this, or maybe some of the things that you think your fairy art mother would say to you, that might spark something in someone else, and I think that'd be really neat. You can also use that hashtag on Instagram and share it there if you hang out there. Thanks so much for making this with us, and we'll see you next time.